L'chaim!
Assistant for the folks?
Yeah, let them know where we're at, just in case they're not keeping up with us.
No. Appreciate. We've gotten a lot of feedback, which has been fun.
Yeah.
People are digging it. I think they like the improved audio.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure shit out, folks. This isn't a fucking professional.
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll be professionals. Today we're still amateurs.
Completely. I don't even know about tomorrow, but...
By the way, if I sound funny, it's because I'm recovering from the flu.
Which I think you're faking it, but
yeah.
We can talk about that later.
Thank you. Thank you for calling me a liar and a coward on the podcast.
You made up the coward part. You did that all on your own.
I had to throw it all together. So...
also just thank you for the coffee with non-hazelnut tonight.
Yes, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
It's
you got the message.
It's a pleasure to serve, you know. So I've been I don't know if you tuned in. Alex Jones is back. Everyone's freaking out. He made an appearance on Joe Rogan, and
because he was kicked off Twitter, right?
Everything. He's still blackballed on everything. You can only watch him on Infowars.com.
Right.
But he got interviewed by Joe Rogan. They're old friends, I guess, and he went on there. And they went for 4 hours and talked about every conspiracy theory under the sun.
Okay, what'd they say? What was the biggest conspiracy theory they talked about?
Well, forget what they talked about. I want to ask you, what's your favorite conspiracy theory? Or which conspiracy theory do you think holds the most weight?
Ever created?
Right now, I mean, like, you know what they are.
Sure.
You know?
Okay, so my...
Moon landing, you got 9/11, you got the mass shootings. There's so many conspiracies behind everything.
I don't know if I have, a air quotes favorite, but, let's dive into the moon landing. I used to think that it was fake, right? Mm-hmm. Then I think I came back around to it's not fake.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know. I feel like I could go either way right now. So convince me. Where are you on that?
Yeah. So here's the thing. What blew me away with the Alex Jones thing is that he said that it is real. We've been to the moon. It's completely real. And in fact, there's so many test launches that they did that we don't even know about. They killed so many people doing it. So, like, to me, like, he took it to the other extreme now. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He's
was he ever
like,
on the other side of that coin? And now he's on the other side? Or he was always on the we did it?
You know, I'm not sure. Because he's one of those guys that's like, I talked to the number 5 general and admiral in the army, and this guy, he was a clandestine army guy, and blah, blah, blah. You know, like, he's always talking about his credentials of his sources.
Sure.
You know, who'd give him the information. So I don't know. I think he would be more one way or the other, but
honestly, I don't know enough of the conspiracy details behind any of the things you mentioned to really be able to speak intelligently about it. But my one thing I always go to with the moon landing is this. Mm-hmm. If we were there then, why haven't we been back since?
Yeah, that's what bothers me.
Right.
I was about to say that.
But yet we're sending shit to fucking Mars, and yet we can't get to the moon again?
Well, how did we lose the technology?
Right.
That's what they keep saying. Like, we went to the moon, but
we haven't. Right.
We don't know how to go back.
Right.
We lost all that information. But yet they're making a movie about a woman who's alive, who did all the math to get us to the moon. An African American lady. I can't remember the name of the movie, but they're making like a film about this woman who did all the physics, all the math to get us there. But yet, and she was alive. She's alive as far as I know. But they can't.
And we literally have more technology processors in our cell phones today than what they had on that original fucking Apollo ship.
On the whole floor of the NASA launch pad,
and we can't go back there.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm surprised they don't have a Walmart up there already.
Yeah, well, I mean, is there anything they could really do up there?
I don't know.
The atmosphere isn't really.
If you believe that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck to believe because. On one hand, it's like you see all the pictures, you see the movies, you hear this. But on the other hand, it's those simple things like, why haven't we fucking gone back?
Yeah.
That makes you at least question it.
Well, the other question is the Van Allen belts. You know, they found out about the Van Allen belts, I think, after the first moon landing. So they found out that there's a huge radiation stream, which means that they were sending our boys through like massive radiation, and they were dying, and or they're extremely radiated, which doesn't explain how some of those guys are still living.
Right.
Like it's very confusing to me. I don't know.
I mean, and as far as the 9/11 conspiracy is concerned, I just I don't know enough about it, but it's very disheartening to think that our government would be behind mass murdering that many of its own citizens. Well, don't put it past them.
What if it wasn't the government per se? I mean, it's just weird. The Building 7 that fell without a plane hitting it.
Dude, there's so many crazy things. Like the hole in the Pentagon that doesn't match a fucking plane. There's no
plane in there, yeah. But I mean, the Building 7 like housed how many like official like FBI, CIA, NSA, whatever was in there. You know what I mean? And it just came down.
Right. Like a
controlled demolition.
Right. And didn't really the World Trade Centers come down like a controlled demolition?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't they have toppled like a...
Well, and that's...
No, I get it. Crazy. It's so fucking bananas, but...
Yeah.
To just come right out and say, yes, it was a conspiracy and this is the conspiracy, or... It's just, to me, it's just crazy. Because of course, as everybody says on certain things like the JFK assassination, right, certain major events throughout our time, you remember where the fuck you were that day.
The best for JFK is that Sam Giancana book. You know, the head of the mafia back then. Like, his son wrote a book about how he was, like, massively involved in the assassination, and there was, like, CIA involvement. It's a great book.
There's something that says about Johnson... when they were asking him about is all the security and everything okay for whatever. I mean, I'm speaking out of my ass again because I don't know, but he gave some ambiguous answer that was just like everything's all set or something like that, you know? And what does any of that mean? I don't know, but...
Well, now I'm reading about Martin Luther King when he got shot, that the doctor at the hospital that he was taken to told the people to make sure they bring him here after he gets shot because I'll make sure he doesn't survive. And, like, this is on, like...
Pre-shooting, they
said?
Yeah,
like, it was set up. Like, he was, like, in on it or whatever.
Fuck. I don't know, dude. It's crazy, but, again, it's... If you can think about something like that, there's got to be some element of something.
Well, here's the thing.
To it.
You have the Lusitania, which we know from history was destroyed by our own government to get us into the war, right? Yeah. We knew Pearl Harbor. They knew it was coming, and they didn't do anything to stop it.
There's something that came out, a survey or whatever, pre-Pearl Harbor, that the American people were not in support of joining the war.
No, but once Pearl Harbor happened,
of course they needed something.
Yeah.
To get everybody to get. I mean, you could say essentially the same thing for 9/11.
Exactly.
You know, all these different things. I mean, I guess in 1968 when we had the moon landing.
Well, and then with 9/11, there's the post facto too. You know, the guys that own the buildings, they sued the insurance company for two different incidences because two different planes hit the building. So instead of getting like $1.7 billion in insurance money, they got like 3.6 billion, and they only spent like another $1 billion to rebuild whatever.
Freedom Towers.
So they made like $2 billion clean, and you know, insurance money you don't pay tax on. So the owner walked away with $2 billion in his pocket. Who knows how much he paid for it, but even if you netted $1 billion clean off of that, that's kind of suspicious.
That's a good payday.
That's a great payday, man. Wow. $1 billion.
So I don't know. So Alex Jones is on the side of we must be starting the podcast. Your dog's running.
Yeah. Traditions. It's a conspiracy too.
Fucking right.
Damn, he's released. Dog's always here. Yeah.
So he says we went to the moon. Mm-hmm. Why does he say that?
Well, he says that his contacts and all the people he's involved with
say it happened.
They're saying like they were in there. They know what happened. They're saying that there's more to it than we even know. Like
I'm sure
like I said,
that.
like they sent up so many previous missions under like clandestine missions to basically get the whole thing started, but so many guys died, like more guys than we can imagine. That's what
I don't doubt that. I mean, I don't doubt that they experimented and tried certain things that resulted in death.
Right.
I mean, now Trumpy wants to have the Space Force,
right?
Which I think is needed.
Well, because
Because if not us, then who?
The
Chi-Coms.
the pragmatic effect of having a agenda to exploring space goes way beyond exploring space. I mean, the amount of things that came out of NASA, like if you just Google it and just all the products that we use, from Teflon to like bulletproof vests to like all that stuff came from NASA technologies.
Yeah.
So why would we stop that? Why would we stop throwing money at science like that? You know, like that iPhone, the technologies for this, the cameras, the computers.
No, I completely agree in that regards. I'm just saying the Space Force, another branch of the military, essentially is what he wants.
Sure.
I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing.
Well, it depends on what the use is. I mean, what is the use? Is it for
defense.
Colonization?
No, I think it's for defense. I mean, I would hope it's for defense.
From who?
Well, think about it. I mean, and we touched upon EMP
Attacks.
a couple of weeks ago.
Sure.
But if China or Russia, and don't kid yourself, they're into space exploration.
Well, sure.
You know,
we our NASA works with the Chinese space.
Unfortunately,
techs,
but so if they're up there exploring or doing whatever they're doing to advance their agenda, which I would say is not necessarily a good one, they could take out our fucking satellites.
Yeah,
and we're done.
But see, here's the thing. You know, here's the thing. We had a race once upon a time to nuclearization and who can have the biggest and baddest weapons. Now, to me, consumerization is the race, and the fact that we're so interlinked, like China taking out our satellites and disrupting our communication, our sales, our purchase.
Right, it hurts them, essentially.
It's going to destroy their economy. So unless we're in a post-apocalyptic, dire straits situation where their logistics are irrelevant and they can't send product over here and manufacture anymore, there's no reason for them to do that.
Unless their thought is to take it out and then take over.
They don't have the resources.
And I agree with you. I don't think they do either.
I think China is a house of cards. To be honest, I think that they're
playing with cards with the American flag on the back.
Well, they're super leveraged, you know, just like we are, but they don't have the military might if stuff hit the fan. You know,
you can say shit.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine. I've heard it.
You're a big boy now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not as stressed about China or Russia. I just think that they use those as political ploys to get Americans riled up so that they can get other shit done.
100%. And then I think there's also a lot of like, look over here while we're doing something over here we don't want you to see.
Yeah. What's happening in Israel right now? Netanyahu is getting just beat up. They want to get rid of him.
Yeah, but they've wanted to for years. I haven't.
Yeah, I wish I pulled the article before I started talking about it now, but apparently they're trying to charge him with some sort of crimes. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah,
if
we
you
can't
got your
speak
phone
on
over
that.
there, check it out. What's going on? But that's how it is. It's like the Charleston Shuffle. They show you one thing and then they try to give you another. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's true.
Away. So going back to conspiracies, you know, what do you think about the craziness of like the Sandy Hook conspiracy? Do you think that there's any truth in that at all?
What, the crisis actors?
Crisis actors.
Oh, man.
It being fake. Like, I think, to me...
Dude,
if
those kids died.
Yeah, those kids died, man. And
I mean, that's the end of the story.
And people are fucking calling. There's people, like, you know... Okay, if there's actors involved to spruce up the story from a whatever point of view, fine. But actual people died.
I agree. I mean,
you know, like it's.
I think you couldn't weave that web deep enough to.
No.
I mean, those fucking kids died.
I don't believe that the people who are ruthless enough to create something like that. Let's just say it is a conspiracy that this guy didn't go in there himself. That there was like 3 other like shooters, you know, with like black tactical gear and stuff. I don't believe that they're like, all right, let's do that, but let's not kill anybody. Let's just pull them from their schools and put them in
It's too big.
South Florida.
I mean, that's
they
major
would
witness
just kill
protection
them.
program.
Yeah, they would just kill them, I think. Like, that's how ruthless they'd be. But I think because of what I understand of serotonin uptake inhibitors and shit, like the antidepressant drugs that most of these mass murderers are on, like, I don't hold it past these crazy people to do that.
To shoot up.
To go and shoot up a school. And
right,
kill
of
people.
course.
I don't at all. Because they're on heavy drugs that are basically making them crazy.
Oh, totally.
You know?
100%. Yeah, But now Alex Jones came out vocally that was a hoax.
Yeah,
he's walked that back, hasn't he?
I lost a lot of respect for him on that because that was kind of like, dude, that is a big mouthful. You know,
he walked that back since, or he's still on that monkey?
I think he has walked that back. He's walked a lot of stuff back, but I don't know. I don't listen to Alex Jones.
Right.
You know, I listen to him on Joe
Somebody
Rogan.
else, yeah,
because Joe Rogan had him on. I let him give me his 5 cents, but I don't listen. I don't tune into InfoWars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got a big following though.
Yeah, he does. He was like bigger than CNN at one point.
But I like if he's in the business of making money.
Yeah.
So if what he says
Yeah.
is making him money, then so be it. I mean, look at The Onion.
Yeah.
You know The Onion? It's all fucking fake stories and, satire.
Yeah, but it's more enjoyable than actual news today.
Yeah, and if you're thinking, okay, if Alex Jones really just wants to do that,
yeah,
and he's just coming under the guise of I'm serious, but really he's joking, but his act is I'm serious,
yeah,
good for him.
yeah.
People got to fucking listen. People at the end of the day, they got to do their own research. You got to go and validate through multiple sources,
Right.
and you got to formulate your own opinions through the facts that you have read about.
All right, I'll talk to you about an old school conspiracy then.
Okay.
From when I was in my early 20s. My friends down in Miami, some of them Hebes, some of them Christians, some of them whatever, we would all discuss the Old Testament and the New Testament, mostly the Old Testament, and talk about how most of it describes alien encounters.
Isn't there a show called
Ancient Aliens?
Ancient Aliens?
Yeah, and I don't know if they break down the Bible. I don't watch it enough to know that.
I've
I know they talk about Tiwanaku and what's the one in Turkey, man? Oh my gosh. All those ancient sites, those megalithic sites, and how they're set up like the way they describe it is that our history is like 20,000 years old because those sites were built way before and then civilizations found them afterwards, after the Ice Age, and rebuilt on top of them.
Okay.
That's a whole other podcast. We can't even get into that right now. But what was I talking about?
We're talking about ancient aliens and
Okay, in the Bible. So if you read some of the Bible, like Ezekiel, there's so many descriptions of like ships, the gods coming down in their ships with like a crystal firmament, and them coming down and landing, and chariots ablaze, chariots with flames coming out of them, and they're basically describing like planes and
like a UFO.
Like a UFO.
Well, isn't there been hieroglyphics or ancient wall paintings of Indians that show like those types of vehicles?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's
blows your mind a little bit, right? Think about it.
Yeah, you can't even wrap your head around it,
right?
Because you were taught something as a kid growing up.
If that's a lie, could everything be a lie?
Yes, everything is a lie.
Could we be fucking Truman right now?
No, everything is a lie. I'm a hologram.
Here we go again.
Have a good night.
That was like episode 2, I think. We were talking about
everything. I mean, look, think if you talk about the Matrix.
Yeah.
Are we just hooked up?
Yeah.
Are we just hooked up? Our flu shots, the way that they get us to
give us the flu.
Keep us in line.
Yeah. My dad gets the flu shot every year. As soon as he got it this year, 2 weeks later, he was sick with the flu.
No, it's bullshit.
And now we all got it. I got the flu.
It's bullshit.
Damn it, dude. I told him, stop getting that damn shot.
I told you, I haven't gotten a flu shot in 25 years. I haven't had the flu in 25 years except for this year.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I think it's... Who fucking... who knows?
Who knows? There's so many things I don't know. It scares me.
Yeah, but you can't think about it. You just sit in a corner all day just like...
Trying not to cry.
Playing
the crying game like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, or like a fucking... what do they call those things?
What was the name of the kicker
Ray Finkel.
Ray Finkel.
What do you know about Ray Finkel? Soccer style kicker.
Oh my gosh.
No, you can't think about some things. You just gotta accept as the way it's always been.
Yeah.
Because the second you start to question things, like even thinking about the 9/11 thing, you're like, you just can't. It just fucks with your brain.
Exactly.
Because so many things make sense.
Yeah.
That shouldn't make sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? It shouldn't make sense that they were planned by the good guys.
Who's the good guys though?
We would think that your own government that's supposed to protect you is at least more on your side than the people that are sworn to kill you as an infidel. You would think that they're better than those guys, but maybe not.
Yeah. I think that the military-industrial complex has so many tentacles around the world now, and it's so important to American prosperity that it's gone beyond.
Think about this. I literally just thought about this sitting here. So now there's a potential. I think it's whatever. There's at least a sniff that we're going into Venezuela.
Sure.
Well, think about the amount of oil that Venezuela has.
More than Saudi Arabia. Right.
So we went into Iraq, and one of the biggest mistakes that we made, that even Trump espouses, is that we didn't take their oil when we went in there. Now we're dealing with this country down here. We're going to a regime change again. Here we go.
Yeah, but America, the way we've worked, it never had to do with taking oil. It had to do with controlling the petrodollar. The only reason we went into Iraq is because Saddam Hussein started using the euro to trade.
Right, that's why we went into Libya.
And we went in there and told him, no, you're not. And he said, yes, I am. And then we hung him. And then we put him back on the petrodollar. Like that is...
Same with Gaddafi.
Yeah, when that's the same thing they're going to do down there. Right now, Maduro is trading oil for Chinese weapons, services, etc. That's how...
And Russian, right?
I think some Russian, but I know China has like the biggest investments.
Sure they do.
Like they've made capital investments into the country. So basically what happens is that when they made the investments,
which will pay off.
Oil was high. So they were trading them in oil. Here, and put this in here and we'll send you barrels of oil. Well, when the oil price dropped, the price tag was still up here.
Right.
So now they're sending them double the amounts of oil and making 1/3 the amount of money, which is really, detrimental to their ability to fulfill their social programs. Now, what the Americans are saying is you're basically trading goods for services, but you're not using the American petrodollar, and we don't like that, So we're going to come in and clean that up and take care of that for you. I think that's what's happening.
I hope it doesn't happen. I hope they sort their own shit out and we don't have to get involved in another fucking
I hope so too,
conflict.
I think it's going to be a problem.
But the
Colombians,
it's already
let the Colombians deal with it.
Exactly.
Let the Colombians deal with it. The Colombians have taken in 2.5 million refugees
Right.
already.
Right.
They obviously know there's a problem. They don't want it to continue. Let them do it. And if they get in trouble, we can help them out. We already sent them enough money with all the coke users we have in this country. They built all their cities.
For decades we've
been funding their growth model through drug use and abuse. So let them deal with something. And then you got Brazil. Brazil's on the brink of total collapse. It's here's the issue, and here's the part where my brain starts working. If we let them collapse, if we just let them try and deal with their own stuff and they just completely destroy it, we're going to have millions and millions of refugees coming up through Mexico. This little band of 10 grand here and 20 grand there, that's nothing in the grand scheme of things. If Venezuela completely becomes defunct, if Brazil completely becomes defunct,
watch out.
There's going to be a march of 3-4 million at a time coming to the borders. And you're going to have a humanitarian crisis Syria trying to get out of the Syrians trying to get out of Syria and getting into Europe. You remember 2 summers ago when stuff got bad in Damascus, there was 2 million people flooding into Europe.
Yeah, Angela Merkel was like, "Come on in."
Yeah. What could she do? What could she do?
Why not disperse those people within the Middle East?
The Syrians, I don't mind so much. What happened that Angela Merkel messed up is she said, come on into the Syrians, but she also said, anybody who's coming from anywhere where they feel discouraged, come on in. So now they have millions of Africans and millions of Middle Easterners and Asians coming in at the same time, like, oh, here's our chance, let's jump on this bandwagon. The Syrians, I understand, dude, we crushed their country. Between us, the Russians, and Bashar al-Assad, like, Damascus is in rubble. Aleppo literally looks like a cat box that hasn't been cleaned, just destroyed.
I've actually seen better cat boxes.
Exactly. It's disgusting. It's sad. I mean, it's sad. People can't live in their own homes. Like, it got destroyed through proxy wars, mercenaries, all that stuff. Like, it's scary shit. So those people that are fleeing there, like, I don't blame them. We should take them here. You know what I mean? Like, our proxy war caused that. They're not bad people. I don't think they are, at least. But they have a real reason.
Yeah, but you need a system in place to vet those fucking
when you're
people.
coming from a place like Venezuela, where the only reason that your shit's fucked up is because some dickhead dictator. That's funny, dickhead dictator. But because some dictator is fucking up the economy by making bad deals, then that's a problem where, as internationalists, we should go in there and try and help them out, fix the situation, do what we got to do to make it right. You know?
And what does that look like?
So what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. Regime change again?
I mean, there has to be some sort of way that you can use. I think the UN should go in and monitor their elections, because you can't tell me that all those people are starving and they voted for Maduro again.
Yeah, but
they said
you're gonna really trust the fucking UN? Come on, they got an agenda.
We run the UN. We run the UN. That's Rockefeller's company, dude. That's been an American company since day one.
I know, we should get out of it.
We are the UN. What do you mean get out of it? First of all the UN standards, even the Paris Climate Agreement, all that stuff, we already surpass all that stuff for the most part. You know,
yeah, but here's the thing with the UN. There is so many. You know how much shit they put on Israel?
I know.
So that's why I don't completely agree with you in that we, U.S., run the UN, because we wouldn't be doing that to Israel.
Listen, Israel, I've said this to you and I've said this to your father before a few times. All Israel has to do is deal with the Palestinians. Do something. Either give them their own little state there, or absorb them as some sort of citizenry, or move them, or just give them a chance. Do something. Do the humanitarian thing. Look, you've already taken over in the past 50 years most of that landmass. And I know the Greater Israel Project is to grow, empire style. That's great, but that doesn't mean that you can get away with just subjugating people, because that's what Hitler did. Hitler was like, I'm taking over this land, and we're going to kill these people we don't like.
Yeah, but
so, I mean, like, Palestinians have been subjugated to this small strip, and that's whatever, fine, we're there. But now you got to do something about them. Either let them live, give them rights as citizens, or make a deal with another country to swap citizenry, or send them there.
Yeah, but they are being allowed to live. They are being given citizenship into Israel.
I don't know, the colonization of the West Bank and stuff, man. Like, there's a lot of issues back and forth there.
Yeah,
and
but
I'm not saying Hamas, has any right to try and blow people up and stuff, but it's not a win-win situation. It's an Israel win situation, and that's what makes people angry. Just fix it.
It's very complicated.
It's very complicated. It's not something you and I are going to fix on this show.
I don't want to.
I don't want to. That's their problem. But at the same time, you can't. It's like saying, Israel is allowed to do this and go through this, but when Saddam Hussein was doing the same thing, we had to go in there and, take care of it.
I don't think it's the same thing. And also, where's the condemnation from the UN on Hamas or on all these other tyrannical countries that is being put upon Israel for what you're saying is being done?
Well, I mean, I think things have changed. Netanyahu's done a great job. If you look at what he's done with Saudi Arabia, he's got pipelines coming through from Saudi Arabia now.
Yeah, Egypt,
he's working
got
with
alliances.
The Greeks, the Egyptians, the Jordanians. He's working, man. Like, he's trying to make a better place there. And I think his overall vision is great. And I think he could really change the Middle East. But he just has that one thorn in his side.
It's been in all their sides.
No, I know, but look, man, it's something you got to deal with. You know, like it's a shit or get off the pot situation. Like, just deal with it, and everybody will be happy.
Yeah, I just don't think it's that easy.
No, it's not.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, because they're claiming they have rights to the land, and the Israelis are saying we were here way first, and they're kind of right.
Here we are.
You know what I mean?
And here we are.
And here we are. And you and I are here in this basement,
Drinking coffee.
Drinking coffee and enjoying our lives. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. What do you think about the conspiracy for, what's the other one that I was thinking about for the show today?
Planned Parenthood.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That is a good one.
Because wasn't Margaret Singer, right? She founded it?
Yeah.
Is that right? Wasn't she a member of the KKK? Some sort of...
Yeah, there's all kinds.
Grand Poobah?
I read some things about her writing that the agenda was to limit the...
Eradicate...
or limit the
black
growth,
race, right?
And limit the growth of the black.
And then take that in conjunction with, you know...
placement of the Planned Parenthood. It's always in the cities.
Well, not only that, but take that with the notion of, you know, breaking up the nuclear family. And that coupled together...
It's been a weird half a century in this country. I mean, even what's crazy to me, I'm all for choice and people's rights. You know, don't tread on me, I won't tread on you. But the whole idea of like killing a baby once it's born, like the fact that that's even being discussed. I mean, it's like we talk about the ancient Greeks, like the Spartans used to throw the babies off the cliff if they weren't fit for society. You know, and we look at them, we're like, what a bunch of fucking barbarians. You know, I love the Spartans. I love their stories. I'm Greek. I've been in all those places. I've watched every movie, read every book. I still cry when I read some of their stories, you know what I mean? But I still look back on it, I'm like, wow, dude, they were kind of barbaric.
Sure.
They literally fucking just murdered children because they were like, his leg's kind of crooked.
Right, he's got to hang now.
He won't be able to stand in the phalanx. Get him the fuck out of here. Not like we'll use him as a cook. You know, or man, we might need someone to like wash our balls. I don't know.
I'd rather be thrown off a cliff.
Just throw him off a cliff. Get rid of him. He's got Spartan blood. Get rid of him. But they'd have slaves who were, you know, whatever. So now we're going back to that.
Ooh.
Like, isn't that?
I mean, you realize this week that, or maybe it was no, I think it was this week. The Senate voted no on making infanticide illegal.
On making it illegal.
Correct. So, for instance, if a baby was supposed to be aborted,
and
it survived. They don't have to revive it. They can let it die.
Or kill it.
Whatever.
Spike it, whatever, right there.
They voted that down.
Oh, I thought it went the other way.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Which is just fucking bananas.
That is bananas. I don't know if I agree with that at all.
I don't agree with it at all.
It's weird. I don't get why if we have this problem with population replacement statistics, you know, they keep saying we need to bring in immigrants to have enough people to, like, you know, work Social Security and everything else.
Yeah, why are we killing babies?
Why are we so pro-abortion? Why not be pro life? No, not pro-life. I'm saying why don't
well, they always claim women's.
Why don't we put more money into like orphanages and schools for boys and girls that are, you know, orphaned?
Dude, we could go down a rabbit hole of so much stuff right now where the money's spent, like, and not spent. But it's just mind-boggling. And then, you know, they always go under the umbrella of women's, you know, rights or their bodies and this and that. But a kid that's born.
Well, I don't understand if you're gonna have an abortion early.
Right, but if a kid is born alive, what does that have to do? And you are now allowed to kill it. What does that have to do with a woman's body?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with women's body. And here's the other thing: you can't have it both ways, because they'll say, "Oh, you can abort a baby," blah 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 blah.
Right.
Because it's not a baby, right? It's a fetus or whatever the fuck they say they they want to call it. But yet, if you kill a pregnant woman, all of a sudden it's a double homicide.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
That's interesting.
Right?
Well, because she was planning to have the baby, maybe. You know, so
well, I mean,
if you're planning to have the baby, it has a life. Yeah.
Such a full bullshit. Abstinence.
Yeah.
Abstinence, kids.
I don't know. It's scary. It's scary because the stuff we used to talk about, like, it's, you know, back in the day, like, this is like the craziest things you could ever think of in society. You know, like literally men chopping off their junk to become women. Like when I was a kid, that was thought of as like the most fringe, extreme thing, and now I see it on TV shows every day.
Well, did you just see that there were 2 transgender, I guess so they were guys that are now becoming women, and they're in high school, and they placed first and second in the track meet?
Yeah, that's tough.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, what about that fighter, the trans fighter that like kneed the other girl in the head and cracked her skull? Like it was Mortal Kombat. See that. Oh man, it happened.
It was a dude turning into a female and fought females.
Yeah, and this is like after puberty. He was like a UFC fighter, and then decided to become a woman. And he did the hormones and everything,
right,
whatever. But still, his muscle mass, his size, like the guy looked jacked, and he destroyed women. And I mean.
So what happened to the woman that got her skull cracked?
I mean, it was like a finish her move from.
Well, I mean, clearly.
Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Did she die?
No, I don't think she died, but
she's fucked up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Brain damage.
I don't know about all that. I'm not gonna go there, but I know that she had fractures in her skull.
Put it this way: she was taking fucking Advil the next day.
Next year.
Killer headache.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I think it's such a brave new world, as they say, but it's happening so fast that I don't think we're really considering the repercussions of what's happening.
I don't think the media helps. Well, having an agenda and you know, pushing this shit 24/7. Their agenda.
Yeah.
It's scary. I mean, it'd be nice if they just reported. I was heard somebody say something the other day, like it's the 24-hour news cycle that has killed us.
That's made us crazy.
They just go back to, news is from 9 to 11 or whatever the fuck.
Well, I mean, you not just that, but you have social media to compound it.
Yeah, forget it.
Because now, I mean, I watch the news. Half the time they're showing Twitter feeds.
Yeah, and the other thing
this is the fucking news, not the opinion highlight show.
And the other thing is these people. A lot of people just read headlines.
Sure.
And then they just go.
They lose the nuance of the story, all the way.
Yep.
And I mean, most of these issues are very nuanced. Like I'm not, for what it is. If someone wants to go and be trans or be whatever they want to be in their life, that's fine. Go do your thing. I think the nuance lies in how do we handle it societally. Like, do we allow young men who are transitioning to compete with women?
No.
And are we excluding women then? You know what I mean? Because if it gets to the point where there's so many young men transitioning for whatever reason, whether it's just their hormones, like scientifically it's true, yada yada. I guess they're trying to figure that all out. And it gets to the point where you have like thousands and thousands of young men transitioning, and they're just taking over women's sports. And you're watching a WNBA, motherfuckers are dunking and shit.
Well, okay, so to that down that road, what if somebody? Okay, so a dude. What if a dude who is extremely athletic, but not athletic enough to potentially go pro and make millions of dollars, right? But yet they can transition to a woman, compete against a woman, make those same millions of dollars.
I don't think they're gonna make millions, but sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking money. Mm-hmm. Well, they could get endorsements. Yeah. Whatever. Right. I mean, they could become a superstar. The
way pop culture is,
right? Yeah. I mean, how about a man that maybe goes and competes in tennis? They'd have a fucking Nike contract tomorrow.
Crush it. So
they're making millions of dollars, and they retire, and then they go back because they were just doing that to get that edge. I mean, that seems to be unfair. Or
I think you have to have some sort of psychological. Well, somebody said it the other day on the report on a show I was watching. They said, in some countries, in order for you to get the full benefits of being the opposite sex, you have to go through the reassignment surgery. Like once you've gone full, cut it off and you become the opposite sex or whatever.
So if you want to become a female, I mean, if you're a female and you want to become a male, what do they give you a dick? How do they give you a dick?
Oh, I don't know about that. I know with a male they can drill you.
Well, it's easy to cut off, but how do you add on?
Flip it in. Use the nerve endings from your penis to add the surrounding area, I guess.
So, right. Okay, fine. Whatever. How do they add on? What are they adding?
I don't know.
Got to be doing a skin graft.
It's got to be useless. I mean, can you create a boner?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, I mean, Viagra, right? When that.
No, I mean it would rush blood, but there's like special muscle and tissue in the penis that fills up like that, right?
I'm not a doctor.
Dude, I'm not a doctor either. Like we're going down a big old rabbit hole.
I don't know. That's just kind of. I never really thought about that. Why would I ever have the reason to? But now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, how do they add on?
Here's the thing, man. Like I see people are, you see some of these people that have transitioned. You can't tell, bro.
No.
At all.
Dude, that one like Miss America or Miss Universe.
Yeah.
She looked just like a woman.
Yeah, smoking hot. Crazy.
I
ask my friends that all the time. Like, if you saw this person in the bar at night and you were half cocked, would you go home with her?
Half cocked.
And they're like, fuck, yeah, she's hot. And I'm like, that's a dude. Well, was a dude.
Right.
And they're like, holy shit, I'd still go home with her. I have some pretty straight up friends, dude. They don't give a fuck. But,
yeah, that's fucked up.
But it's true, though. I mean, like, think about it. Like, it's all the time you watch TV. Like, if you Google right now, actors in Hollywood that you didn't know were trans, there's like at least 50 actors that are on TV all the time that you don't know that are trans.
No.
Swear to God.
Would you just lip to me? Brad Pitt.
They got some names on the dark web, man, for some of it. It's so funny.
Give me a big name that's a fucking trans. Besides Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner. Oh, shit, man. I mean, like, ones that I know are trans.
Yeah,
I'd have to look it up, man. It's there's a list. If you go to like on IMDb, they have like articles about it and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it's like you don't even know. I mean, they think about it. For 20 years, they're taking some of them. They start so young that by the time they're an adult, they look like a straight up woman.
Listen.
Do you know who Gigi Gorgeous is? Dude, look up Gigi Gorgeous. Put your phone underneath the table. This Gigi Gorgeous started transitioning at like 17 years old. Looks like straight up Barbie doll.
Laverne Cox.
Laverne Cox was the one that, the athlete, right?
I don't know. It just came up on this.
Oh, no, she's that actress on Orange is the New Black, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Elliot Fletcher on Shameless.
Yeah.
Tracy Lissette.
They're all trans, right?
I think so.
It's so many. Like, it's everywhere. It's beyond an agenda. Like, it's happening, dude.
Oh, by the way, I spoke to my sister. Mm-hmm. She was listening to an earlier episode.
Podcast, yeah.
And we had talked about the Google or the Amazon Go.
Yeah.
Where we talked about it was biometrics. And
right.
She said it's not.
Go on.
She'll fucking kill me for not remembering exactly what she said. It was early in the morning and blah, blah, blah. That she told me. Supposedly you sign up and you get like a QR code.
Like an app with a QR reader.
Something like that, I think.
Right.
Yeah, and whatever. She was out in Seattle training for Amazon.
Oh, really?
And she did it. She said it was amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I think biometrics is the next.
That's what it's going to be.
Fucking right. That's what everything's going to be.
Sure. I mean, your banking, think about it. If you can go up to an ATM and the only way you can get your money out is your thumb.
Right.
People are already cutting fucking thumbs off.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, eyeballs out.
Eyeballs out. Yeah, shit like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it makes me think of like Mission Impossible and all that crazy shit where they like find like digital
Dude,
ways to recreate them.
That was 25 years ago Mission Impossible 1 came out.
I know. And they were already thinking about like all that biometric stuff back then.
Yep.
How it could be hacked.
Yep.
And we're going right into it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Do you think that technology will get so advanced that society will reject it and go back to a more primitive time? Yeah. You know, where they just reject this on, like, fuck it. Like, I don't need a cell phone. I don't even need a landline. Like, write me a letter.
I think...
I'm not saying that's going to go that extreme, but you know what I mean? Like...
I think it's not going to be
too far.
I think we're going to go straight up. Like, there's going to be a time where we're in, like, a pure virtual, like, reality, like, zone. Like, we clock in the morning, we wake up, we throw on our virtual reality glasses with, like, moving floors that move with you. And you can walk around, live, like, go to school, like, live your life in a virtual reality, never leaving your house.
I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that.
I'm just saying.
What if...
Did you ever watch Ready Player One?
No.
Like, watch Ready Player One. Like, that's the future.
So if that's the future, does that mean if you refuse to accept that future as your own, that you
what are you gonna do?
you're cast.
You're gonna sit at home or go to the park by yourself because everyone's in there.
Nah, you won't be by yourself. That's what I'm saying. Is not everybody's gonna conform to that because
I think it's such a big thing right now. Think about the internet, man.
You think it's gonna happen in our lifetime?
Do you use social media?
Very little.
Very little.
But I mean enough to understand that what its power is.
Right. It's insane the amount of social media that 90% of the population uses. Like when I say insane, I think people are on it an average of 7 to 8 hours a day.
Oh, I agree, and I think the studies show that they're doing that. But
like now, imagine if you could go virtual, and you can have all that, but also have like your whole life.
Thank you.
Coffee time.
Yeah.
We have a server.
Computer server.
Just a little bit. That's good. Just a shot. Thank you.
I'll finish that.
Take the rest. I mean, I think people love this stuff, man.
But I think
absolutely love it.
But I think they're showing that people are pulling back from that as well. Like I think they're showing that people recognize that it's having an adverse effect on their life. I mean, from a socially outward standpoint to I mean, people can't even function in society. Like these younger kids come up, they don't fucking know how to socially interact.
Yeah, it's like the Japanese kids that don't leave their rooms.
I'm telling you, it's not all pretty picture. Yeah. It's certainly added convenience to aspects of life. Clearly, it could be, but
I mean, think about it. You have young people who don't take pictures of me from that side. I have a huge pimple.
Huge fucking zit. I noticed that.
It hurts so bad.
I thought you got another animal.
No, it's something. I feel like I got stung by an infected bee or something.
Gave you the fake flu.
Yeah. But anyways,
as long as it's not on your butt.
I'm gonna have to cut some of this out, I think.
Nah, fuck it.
I know. The problem is that the young people, they're into it more than us older people.
Yeah, of course.
Here's where I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better, is because you and I are old enough to have lived in a generation where we had none of it. We literally had our bikes.
Yeah, and that was so great.
Our basketballs, the outdoor basketball court, whatever.
You know what I mean? They still have those.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like that's all we had. Like
right.
for me, getting a new pair of basketball shoes, I didn't even wear them outside. I just kept them on the laces for the court.
Hung them from the straight wire.
Dude, I had that shit on my shoulder when I was walking through the gym. You know what I mean? Like getting ready to go play. Like it was the deal. Now they're like, I see kids that are like half my age with brand new cell phones, and those fuckers cost $1,200.
Yeah, where are they getting them from?
I don't know, man. When I was a kid, I wanted a $1,000 bike. My dad looked at me like I had 3 eyes. And then he just looked away, and I never said anything about it again.
Makes you look like you have 3 eyes.
Oh my god, this guy. But I think that's what the problem is. Like the young kids, their parents, our generation of parents are fucking horrible people.
They're entitled.
They're horrible people, and they're not raising their kids. They're like, oh, I have to watch this TV show, or I have to do this email, or I have to work. So here's an iPad. Just watch this shit. And now did you hear about this Momo challenge?
Dude, my cousin
God.
just sent me the info on that shit.
It's so scary.
Have you seen the picture
of
that thing?
I've seen the
picture. I asked my kids. I was like, have you seen this? Because they watch YouTube Kids.
Right.
But supposedly it's popping up on YouTube
everywhere,
Kids.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand how, but whatever.
Yeah.
And they were both like, no. And I'm like, listen, if you come across this...
You show me right away.
You turn it off, you tell me right away.
Right.
So I think they got that to the extent that they could. But my daughter that night was actually just like, I don't want to watch YouTube Kids. I'll just watch Netflix.
She got scared.
I was like, fine with me.
Perfect, even better.
Fucking fine with me.
My sister doesn't let her daughter watch YouTube anymore because there's so many weird shows like where adults like unwrap gifts, kids' toys, and like play with them and make voices, and she's like, you watch it and you're like, dude, some of these messages that they set across, it's not appropriate. But you don't, unless you pay attention,
right? Unless you're sitting right there,
watch it. Like you don't know what your kid's being fed because it's not like it's rated material. But kids get like it shows up in a kid's feed because it's meant for.
It's because it's meta tagged with something that's
exactly
based on what they've been watching.
They got good SEO.
Right.
But yeah, it's scary, man. there's so many things that about a year ago there was a blue whale challenge that kind of was the same thing. It was like it went viral.
I never
with
heard
young
of that
kids, and they were killing themselves.
What?
That Momo challenge, a girl in Brazil, like a 6-year-old, committed suicide because of that Momo challenge.
Wait, so what's the challenge? Like, I
So
just read
what
that this
happens
thing
is
pops
the
up
thing
and it
pops
like...
up and it tells the kids to get on a website or to use their social media to contact somebody, XYZ. And then that person starts giving them instructions to like set up these different like routes to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts off giving them small challenges. Like, okay, we want you to go take a picture of the balcony, some shit like that. And then it's like, oh,
lick
what?
your elbow.
Yes. And then it's like, oh, you cut yourself. Or go turn on the oven while your parents aren't looking, And then it'll keep escalating if the kid keeps doing it. And then I think what they do is they get to a point where the kid does stuff and they're like, oh, now we know all this stuff. You can't get out of this. You got to keep doing it. Like, we're going to tell everybody.
And if you tell somebody, we're going to kill you.
We're going to kill your parents. We're going to come there and kill your parents. Shit like that.
But isn't the thing I read, it's like it's telling them to kill their parents.
Yes. It's telling them, it tries to push them to do the most extreme things. Like, if you tell your parents, we're going to come and kill all of you. Now go jump off the balcony and film it.
What the fuck?
Yeah. There's some sick fucks out
there. Sick fucks, man.
Yep.
I don't know. It's a scary world out there, but... Unless we're all going to go Ted Kaczynski style and just live in the fucking wilderness, you're exposed to this shit. So.
How about it? Well, I mean, it's not even about exposure. You can't escape it.
Right. We're engulfed in it.
I have probably, I don't know, too many people on my Facebook, my personal page. And there are people I've met all over, from acting gigs I've done to my old restaurant, business associates and old friends, high school, etc. And I just sometimes I scroll through my Facebook feed and some of the stuff people post, it's like, man, I know you have kids that follow you.
Right.
You have a you know what I mean? Like, why would you post that? I mean, it's funny.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because people think they can hide behind that shit.
Or it's going to get them likes. Like, if I post this, I might get 10 likes, whatever.
Right.
And it's like, I don't give a shit about likes if it's something that's that asinine and gross.
I think the word you're looking for is asinine.
Asinine, yeah. When I say asinine.
Yeah, threw an extra T in there. Must be the fake flu.
It is the fake flu. You're such a dick, dude. Fucking A. Oh, man. I'm sitting here with a bag of Hall's coffee and like 4 bottles of water in front of me, sweating my ass off. This guy's like, oh, it's a fake flu. And he's the one that brought it over 3 weeks ago. It's all your fault.
It was more than 3 weeks.
You fucking dickhead.
More than 3 weeks. But anyways, I don't know. It is definitely scary.
Oh yeah, scary time.
That shit that's out there. So
it's not even a conspiracy. It's like real shit.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Leah said no more to the YouTube.
I mean, she's kind of convinced her daughter that it's garbage. Like, I tried to bust out YouTube here when she was staying with us, and she's like, "Mommy says that YouTube is garbage for garbage people." Smart, man, because it is a lot of garbage. Like, I watch YouTube like crazy, and like, honestly, there's videos and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
And you're trashy, so
yeah,
makes sense.
Get the fuck out of my house now. You son of a bitch.
Oh man. Nah, listen, you gotta, and that, I guess that goes back to what you're saying is be involved. As a parent, be involved.
No, and that's my biggest complaint about our generation, is that they're so hypersensitive and caught up in all the shit online, all the news. Like, I think that the Trump mania that we talk about here and there on the show, like, that's a perfect example of how people have their heads up their fucking asses. Like, when Clinton was president, shit was fucked up sometimes, but I didn't see anybody in their fucking 30s like completely having meltdowns over shit. You know what I mean? And even when George Bush, I remember George Bush, like, the pundits on TV used to say he's such an idiot. He calls nuclear or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know. My name's, like, just fucking crazy shit. And then, but nobody was like out in the streets like, ripping their shirts. Like, yeah, how many people were getting assaulted in the streets because they're wearing a hat or wearing a shirt or carrying a pro-choice thing? Like, crazy things are happening all across the board. And it's like, what happened? Like, what happened to, like, civility, chivalry, respecting someone else's opinion, having a debate?
It's out the window.
Yeah. I mean, I told you that I stopped talking on social media about political points because I just kept getting my ass handed to me by not, like, one person. Like, 15 people would jump on something I would say, take it out of context, and totally shit on me like I was a racist or a bigot or whatever. Or, and I'm a progressive, man.
Everything's fucking racist.
I'm a fucking progressive. I mean, I'm not a left-wing liberal, like, by any means, but I'm pretty progressive when it comes to most things. We've had these conversations in the past. And I was getting shit on by people that I thought were, like, my contemporaries.
Well, that's
but
my point.
They were like if I was progressive and I was, like, slightly left.
Yeah, they're socialist.
Or centrist. They were, like...
communist.
Mao Zedong. You know what I mean? Like, they were way left compared to me. And I'm like, whoa, what just happened? Like,
that's my point, is that, and they can hide behind their social media to beat you down.
And like, weird numbers. Like, when I was a kid, like, we would have conversations and people would all disagree or agree. But it's not like if one guy was there that disagreed, we all just started calling him a fucking piece of shit. Fuck you, you're just nothing. Like, here, if one person disagrees, everyone shits on him. And, like, the other two people that might agree with him are like, whoa, I'm not getting involved in that. I don't want to get into this pissing contest because that guy's getting his butt fucked right now. Like, holy shit. So, like, and that's the thing about people in the center. Like, we are the least confrontational. Like, we're probably the biggest group out there. Centrists, traditionalists. There's Republicans and Democrats in the center, who just want to see things get done, have progress for the country, make sure everybody's doing better and better and better. That's, like, the majority of what the real world is. But we have the smallest voice because we're not willing to hurt somebody or trash somebody or go after somebody. Just do
because
crazy
you keep
things.
to yourself, you live your own life, and
inside,
and global warming's fake. All right, folks.
L'chaim. All right, but seriously, it was fun. It was real. Sorry we got so serious tonight. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys check us out on Instagram.
Tell two people
how crazy we are and serious tonight.
And talk to you next week.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.